Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and today on the Ravens Roundtable, the Monday, February 6th edition, 2023, we got a lot of things to cover. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. If you notice the new thing in the chat, it's subscribers only, and that's to keep the bots out because I don't want to. I need my life to be straight. I don't need no questions about why certain bots in the chat box all the time, like somebody's clicking buttons, because I'm not. But that's why we subscribers only. So, and most of y'all subscribers anyway, so it shouldn't hurt. All they can do is just grow the channel and whatnot. But before we bring everybody in, I got some housekeeping I have to take care of that I didn't do last week. The winner of the blanket, which sits over my shoulder. Matter of fact, let me just grab it. The throw for this month. I gave away Will G won the first one. We got a winner for this second one, and it is none other than Kevin Spencer. Those are my top three guys. Kevin Spencer, hit me up in the DMs on Twitter or IG so I can get you your throw out. And Will G says it's a great throw. Kept him warm throughout the winter. And hopefully it'll do the same for you and yours. So I appreciate you for coming through. Appreciate you for the donations. Appreciate you for the super chats. Appreciate you for being in the chat when we have live streams. That's how you get your channel points up, by talking in the chat, by donating, and by super chats. That's how you get your points up. And we'll go from there. And I'm going to hit the reset button while we're on this stream. So we will start over probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Without further ado, let me introduce my guest for the day. Get this out of here. Start bringing the guests in. First up, what up, Mikey?
What's up, good people? How y'all?
Glad to have you back.
Yes, sir.
Next up, Hendo. What's good with you?
Chilling, what's going on? Thank you for having me.
No problem. You know what? I just thought about something.
What, Brandon? Just keep choosing violence every day?
I didn't see that, but because my comments are closed right now. The thing yesterday, we might have to throw that in there too. How we feel about that? Because I know, man, you definitely got opposite opinions about how the thing yesterday, the 30 for 30. Because I saw you talking to
Ferris and
Garnett earlier. So I think we got different opinions. We might throw that in there depending on how long we go. Okay. Next up, Chris.
What's going on, fella? Glad to be back. Healthy. Everybody else is healthy, so
that's
glad to be back.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. Last but not least, Jose and B. What's good, fellas?
What's going on, everybody?
Thanks for having us. Back. And so this will be the first time that we actually have some new content that's not strictly Ravens related. And I'm excited to see what it said about it, especially from a certain individual. But we're going to crank this thing up with seems like the longest OC coaching search in America. So you're going to do it like that? And let me get to the front. Yeah, right there. All right. Ravens interviewed a pool of candidates who have all been interviewed at least once, including the tight ends coach, George Gossett, quarterbacks coach, James Urban. External candidates have been Buffalo Bills wide receiver coach, Chad Hall, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, University of Akron head coach, Joe Moorhead, former Dallas Cowboys coach, quarterbacks coach, Doug Nussmeier, Cleveland Browns wide receivers coach and pass game coordinator, Chad O'Shea, and Los Angeles Rams pass coordinator, Zach Robinson. So I'm going to start off with you, Mike. What do you think about these guys?
I mean, I like Leftwich. A couple of names I didn't even know they interviewed, like Moorhead. I didn't know know that. Neither did I know Nussmeier. So, but with those names, man, me personally, either Zach Robinson or Leftwich out of that. Like, I mean, I'm all for some of these new offensive minds getting a shot, but I don't think we can. I don't think we can take that chance right now. We need it. We need a slam dunk hire, and we know for sure that Leftwich and Zach Robinson are probably the closest to slam dunks of that list of candidates that you named right there. But my man Chris just joking need to get his interview. I see he's the next Ravens OC under his day. So I mean, if he gets his crack at the interview, then I'm going with Chris just joking.
Hey man, after watching Bullies of Baltimore, my resume is just as good as those dudes.
I think my resume might be good as Dilfer's. Quarterback position. I can at least hit somebody wide open. At least. Hendo, what you think about that list? Do I need to bring it back up or you good?
Oh no, we good. Mike's pretty much said it all. As far as Byron Leftwich is concerned, I don't think they interviewed him. I just think he had a conversation with John Harbaugh. So I don't think it was actually a formal interview. But I would take him over the rest of the candidates. Zach Robinson, I'll take him. Just the rest of those guys, especially O'Shea in Cleveland. Nah, you can keep him. Dallas quarterbacks coach. We see what Dak Prescott does on a weekly basis. Like, what did he have? Like 8 turnovers, 8 straight games.
He close to the top of the league in the last 3 years of turnovers. If I'm not mistaken.
He is. So, no to him. We need somebody that can work with Lamar if he's going to be here and help him progress as a passer, because the leadership that we have and had, they are not teachers. They're just there in name only. So we need somebody that's going to work with Lamar and bring the best out of him.
Gotcha. Chris?
I'm waiting for next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for next week. I want to see if they actually put in a request to interview Brian Johnson, Eagles quarterback coach. We all know that they've been linked and speculated about Eric Bieniemy, and for me personally, those would be my 2 top dudes out there. But they're in the Super Bowl, so they can't really interview him right now. So they got to wait till next week. So I'm hoping one of those 2 will be the guy. Other than that, I mean, there's not really too inspiring after those 2 dudes.
Well, that was cold-blooded right there. Jose?
Yeah, I'm with Chris, man. Eric Bieniemy and Brian Johnson. I mean, also Byron Leftwich. He's probably my number 1 choice. But like Hendo said, it doesn't look like they're too interested in him. Or it could be the other way around, right? They've interviewed a lot of coaches, and what might be happening is the same thing that happened to Marlon Humphrey when he was down the Pro Bowl trying to recruit players, and they're like, "Are you signing Lamar or what?" Right? Because I mean, listen, if I'm Eric Bieniemy, my next move has to be the right move. I can't go to a team that doesn't have Lamar Jackson. Not
can't
this
afford
team.
to miss.
Right.
Even if it's not with us.
I mean, Bieniemy, Leftwich. I mean, any hot offensive coordinator candidate, their next step is to try to be a head coach. So that question is gonna be probably the first question that comes up. So how's Lamar doing? Where we at with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he gonna be there for at least next year, or you planning on moving on? Like, what's going on? And that could be a major holdup in finding their preferred OC.
Gotcha. B?
Yeah, I agree with Jose. I think it's the same thing that's rumored to be going on in Arizona, where every coach that they want is like, I don't want Kyler Murray, right? Kind of. Well, I guess the opposite of what's going on there.
Right.
It's just difficult to get a commitment from a good offensive coordinator when he doesn't know if he's going to be working with Lamar Jackson or Tyler Huntley or worse, right? They're going
pick your Pro Bowl QB.
Four touchdowns in that Pro Bowl, but more than his career, I believe.
Wow.
I do also agree with Chris. I think they are kind of waiting to talk to Bieniemy and Brian Johnson after the Super Bowl, and I'm going to say that Bieniemy makes the leap. Mm-hmm. He goes to Baltimore. Brian Johnson ends up in Carolina, and everybody's happy.
Wow.
You get what you want.
Y'all get what you want too.
To piggyback off that, what I read somewhere is that the OC for the Eagles may get the Arizona job, and then Brian Johnson may bump up and be the OC for the Eagles. That's what I'm hearing, and then potentially maybe we get Bieniemy. But this first list is from the Athletic. That's where this came from, the Athletic. The second one actually came from NFL.com. And this one actually has Bieniemy on here. It says we've requested an interview from him. Canales has a second interview schedule. Monken has a second interview schedule. Monken is the guy on the thumbnail for those that don't know. O'Shea, we just talked about. Otten, we mentioned last week, and he was on here. And I think Zach Robinson. So amongst these guys, what about Monken? Because we didn't mention Monken. What about Monken, Canales, and Otten? And we'll start with you, B.
I don't really want any parts of Otten. don't really want any parts of Todd Monken. You know, he already had a stint in the NFL that didn't go great. I know that a lot of Ravens fans like him because he uses the multiple tight ends and everything. And I'm like, maybe stop doing that. Maybe get away from that and do something better. But yeah, I wouldn't be too high on Monken coming in. Out of that list, I think it would be Bieniemy. I think Canales actually, you know, I think he's done a very good job in Seattle, right? But like Mike said earlier, you know, when you're in the situation that Baltimore's in, you want somebody that you know can do the job. You know, not kind of somebody who's just coming in for the first time and, you know, maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't. So I would really be leaning towards somebody that has prior OC experience if I'm Baltimore. So I'd be leaning heavily towards Bieniemy.
Jose?
I'm the same. I'm gonna pair it with what B said, man. Like I don't want to take any chances, any risk on somebody come from college. Yeah, he has a little bit of NFL experience. Wasn't, you know, anything great. And just, you know, the style of offense that they want to run, man, like they need to move away from that. Right. This whole 3 tight end set thing, man. Like I'm not for it. We don't have 3 tight ends. Okay.
Now, I want you for people out there that's listening, because I think I heard you mention this earlier. You said you wanted to move away from it, but I think on you guys' show you talked about not necessarily moving away from the run game, but moving toward, you know, moving away from the 3 tight ends. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I not hear you say that this week?
On our show?
Week? Yeah.
Yeah. So no. Don't. We're not saying abandon the run, right? Abandon Lamar running, right?
Yeah.
Put together a more balanced offense. I'm all for the running. I mean, J.K. Dobbins showed you he can be that guy, man. Lean on him. If you're gonna bring back Gus, you know, Gus 2, whoever's gonna be that second running back, and, you know, have a more balanced attack with that, and more passing concepts. I don't want somebody that's going to just kind of keep the same thing going and kind of just rely on Lamar's legs. And I'm sorry, man. Like I don't want somebody that's doesn't really have that proven record coaching Lamar. I mean, I'm not saying Monken can't be that guy, but I don't want to take the risk.
Gotcha.
Chris? And no to the rest of those guys.
No. Chris?
Yeah, I'm with what they said too. Is I want somebody that got experience calling plays, you know, being able to sequence everything and having that background. You know, the only dudes on that list who have that is Bieniemy, Monken, O'Shea, and if you want to count Otten for those 2 games that he called. But, you know, it's clear for me on this list. It's EB. You know, all day, every day is EB. And I was saying this with Mike and Kerry the other day that EB being a former running back, I wonder how much he wants to input his own, you know, fingerprints on his own offense, because we all know Andy Reid is not a run first a play caller.
Right.
We all know that. And EB being a former running back, he might want to lean more towards the run. And Andy Reid is like, no, we're not doing that. You know, we're gonna do this cute ring around the rosy play. And so I would love to see what EB has for his own, like the vision he has for his own offense and what type of scheme he would like to run.
Gotcha. Hit Marco real quick. Appreciate you, Marco, for the 5. He says Harp coaching tree is so strong they got 0 interviews. They're so qualified. Teams afraid to interview and respect. Now, in their defense, they did interview 2 of them. They interviewed Urban and another guy. And I've also heard that T has been rumored to maybe be going to Michigan. Maybe.
Oh, sorry.
So me and B actually had a conversation about this last night. Harbaugh's coaching tree. What do we settle on? Was it 2 or what?
Yeah, you know, you can give them either. You know, it depends on how you kind of define the coaching tree, right? But you can give them either Rex Ryan or Wink Martindale. And then it was
what about the guy that went to the Texans? What about the guy that went to the Texans?
Cully. Yeah, but that's the thing we were saying. Like, is it just anybody who's coached under you, or are you going from a coordinator position to a head coach position, right? Because if you're counting position coaches, there's a couple more guys who you can throw on the list. But long story short, the list is god awful. It's terrible.
It's a coaching branch.
Yeah.
He got a coaching plant.
Yeah, it's a sapling.
Coaching a leaf.
Okay, dope.
I mean, it's obvious. It has to be Eric Bieniemy. Now, I'll give Canales credit for the turnaround that he did. Well, I can't say turnaround because Geno Smith obviously was that guy. He just brought him to the forefront and made him a Pro Bowler. But Monken, listen, Georgia has the best players.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They
By
have the best
far.
players by far. They bought out everybody they could. He's averaged 40 points a game, like B said. He failed in his last attempt. I'm with Jose. I need somebody that's proven. I'm tired of this. Let's experiment. We experimented with the wide receivers last year. We experimented with the tight ends the year before, trying to resurrect 2019. It's time for us to actually go out and get somebody to do for Lamar instead of saying, let's play the waiting game. Let's see the what if. Yeah, it's Eric Bieniemy all the way. I can't. I'm tired, but we all know it's going to be Otten because of those 2 hot games that he had. We know that's going to be the choice.
Crazy.
Bobby Ingram.
Crazy.
No,
I forgot about Bobby Ingram.
No,
Somebody mentioned him earlier.
First of all, that guy got moved from wide receivers coach to tight ends coach. That should say enough about him.
Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it got to be Eric Bieniemy there. But I'm not so low on Monken, right? So hear me out, right? You can make Stetson Bennett a 2-time champion quarterback. You gotta know what you're doing.
I will say that Stetson Bennett is a cheat code because he is the same age as Lamar.
Yeah, right.
But that's a grown man out there playing with 17,
that is a grown man.
Year olds.
That is a grown man. But
he doesn't go out partying. He has to pay bills.
Right. He on his second marriage.
I got a mortgage.
But I mean, you looking at a 5'8" quarterback, walk on, and Monken's offense. I think I think he put 2 tight ends on the field because I mean he had monsters at the position, right?
Right, he do.
And we supposedly have 2 monsters, I guess, of our own with Andrews and Likely. Hopefully he grows into what we think he can be. So I'm not totally against it. I just don't. But if I had to pick one, it's got to be Bieniemy. I'd probably take a deeper look at Monken over Canales and all the other ones, just because I've seen what he could do on the biggest scale, even though it was on the college level, but he's shown improve on a high and a big scale. So, but don't get it twisted. It's got to be Bieniemy if you're going to pick from that list.
Hey, Mike, did he do it on the biggest stage in the NFL?
Well, I mean, so we've seen that before though. We've seen coaches fail. I mean, they're probably the greatest college football coach, or one of the greatest. He didn't do well.
He ain't go to the NFL.
No, but I mean, Nicky Saban, he didn't do great in the NFL.
Well, that was
Listen,
Nick Saban was a little different because he thought he could go there and control grown men.
Right.
It had nothing to do with coaching. It had nothing to do with coaching. It's just that he couldn't deal with grown men with their own money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but look at Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll didn't thrive at first. Sometimes it takes you to go down the level to realize what you got to do. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I don't want. He wouldn't be my first choice by any stretch, but he'd probably be a close second on that list that we just saw.
Got you. And on this list, me personally, I asked the question, why would Bieniemy leave to come here? And that question was actually in the article I saw. Well, the first picture I put up, this one, that question was actually in this article on the Athletic, and they basically said the same thing you guys were saying. He needs to get from up under Andy Reid's shadow, and do his own thing so people can see that see how good he is, see if he's as good as people think he is, or if he's not. But he needs to get from under Andy Reid and prove that. So I'm kind of moving toward you guys with Bieniemy as being the guy I hope we get. But there's also a sleeper on this list that I personally like, that nobody else probably will like, and it's Joe Moorhead. I've seen him up close in person and what he can do with offense. Now, he has absolutely zero talent at Akron. So I'm assuming he can't recruit worth a lick. But as far as what he did in the offense with mobile QBs at Mississippi State, I was impressed. And that's only because I've seen him up close and personal. But there's no other nothing else has showed me that. I know what he can do with college guys, and I don't know if that translates to NFL. And it wasn't just straight zone reads and simple concepts. It was some high level stuff that they were doing there because the quarterback was terrible. He was just a tall runner, but he made the most out of it, and they were ranked pretty much all that year. And I just think maybe he could do it if we don't get the main guy, Bieniemy. But that's just me. I don't think nobody else would kind of feel that way.
Well, at least they kicked the tires on them and gave him an interview. I mean, that means they're doing their due diligence at least,
Because I think I read something that said they interviewed about 30 people before they made a hire last time, and they ended up with Kubiak.
Yeah,
but I'm like you. I think they're waiting for after the Super Bowl to get a shot at Bieniemy, and maybe Johnson also. His super chat. Rave Kingdom. He says, off-season move, sign Lamar, empty wide receiver room, sign Odell and Lazard, and draft wide receivers and OT. Yes, we can get Odell and Lazard on
so
cheap
low.
deals since I personally would love to see Odell here, but I'm an Odell fan.
Yeah, me too.
Everybody else is not, but I personally would love to see him here, and I'm cool with that. Odell plus a draft pick, and we'll go from there. Got one more super chat. Appreciate the dub. Adnan, KC traded the best wide receiver, and KC offense still was strong this year. EB deserves the credit for that, as much as they want any other current head coach from Reed Tree, who also didn't call plays. You're 100% right. He deserves just as much credit as a lot of those guys that got jobs that
they got jobs
were not calling plays. Right.
Yeah.
Real fast. So it is what it is. Let's move on to our second topic. We're going to talk about some of the guys that did get jobs, which Chris just mentioned. This guy right here, the Broncos paid a lot for this young fella right here. Mike, we'll start you out. What you think about Sean Payton going to Denver and the price they paid for him?
So, I mean, if you remember last week, man, I kind of ended the show saying like this, I think this might happen. And it actually happened probably the next day or so. Not surprised. I mean, look, they Broncos owners, they don't Walmart folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're bread long, man. So, I figured they was going to make a splash, and I think they had to. I think it's a solid hire, man. I mean, Sean Payton is a proven winner. Offensively, they should look a lot better than they did this year.
Right.
But he already, starting some stuff. If you saw his interview, somebody asked him about Russell Wilson and his personal coach, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know much about that, but that's not happening here." So we'll see how that goes. I guess Russ has no choice but to respect it. But I think it's a good hire, man. I don't think they went wrong here. I think it's a safe hire for sure. If you needed to, prove to your fan base that look, we trying to right the ship here, I think that's the hire you had to make.
Hendo?
Oh, I love it. Listen, you have to get a coach that commands respect. And I think with him being a Super Bowl winning coach, and like I said before, me being a New Orleans Saints fan before, and him actually bringing a Super Bowl, like you can't deny what he's done with Drew Brees, Taysom Hill. Like he's brought out the best. And for me personally, I think what he's going to do, like Mike said, by him not being able to bring his personal people around, he's going to bring Russell Wilson closer to the team because he has no choice. Now it's not talk to my representative, talk to this person. You're here, and your people are on the outside. So I just think that he's going to make him a better player. Listen, the price might have been steep, but unlike us, you have to pay for what you want. Just like when you're drafting, people say, "Oh, they drafted him too high." If that's the player that's best for you, and that's the guy that you really want to go get him, I don't care where you drafted him at. I don't care what you gave up, because as we've seen with other teams, a la the Rams, you can push draft picks down the line and get the people that you want this year. So what they gave up for Russ, what they gave up for Sean Payton, it really don't matter. As long as they make him better, and I'm able to trade Russell Wilson, we good.
You want to trade it already?
I've been wanting to trade. I don't trade last year.
Hey, they better pray that this works, because every button they push, as far as quarterbacks, as far as head coaches, it has been a complete failure. They've gone the draft route, they've gone the free agent route, and ever since Peyton, everything's just blown up in their face. So they better pray that this works, because a first round pick for a head coach, and then you paying him $20-something million. Hey, I hope him and Russ can get along, because
They're gonna have to.
they don't have to. They don't have to.
But the thing is, if they trade him, ain't that a huge cap hit?
That's what they better hope that it works,
Mhm.
because if those two
yeah.
can't, get that synergy together and get it, on the same page off the field, it's not going to translate on the field.
All right.
So they better hope it works. I kind of want to see it blow up in their face, to be honest.
Jose?
Yeah, I think it is gonna blow up, man. Look, first of all, I hate the move. Let's put that out there. I think that was a terrible move. But man, Sean Payton, man, he's on this power trip all of a sudden, man. He did the same thing when they were talking about Lamar, like, oh well, I would, I wouldn't let him come to the game if he didn't show up, if he didn't want to play hurt or something like that, right? And now he's talking about Russell Wilson's, his personal coach, like, oh well, he ain't gonna be out there, we're not having that. Why are you saying that out loud? Right? Like those are the type of things that you're asking for him to challenge you. Right. So when Russell Wilson comes out there with his coach and be like, he's staying. What you gonna do? Right?
Ain't gonna bench him.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You don't do that, right? You go have a conversation with him. I hope they had some conversations beforehand before they even hired them to make sure that they're on the same page. But like what Hendo said, like hopefully Sean Payton can come in there and bring Russ closer to the team and all that stuff. You know who could have done all that? You know who else is good with quarterbacks? Jim Caldwell. Okay. And you didn't have to give up a first round pick for Jim Caldwell. You could have just hired him.
Right.
So I hate everything about this move, and I hate Sean Payton. So
yeah, I'm not a Sean Payton fan for a number of reasons. And he was in New Orleans for 15 years. They were competitive most of the time. I don't know that automatically translates to him being a franchise savior that you give up the first round pick and all the money for. And like they said, what are you going to do if Russell Wilson says, no, my coach is staying? You're not going to do anything, right? Because how are you going to tell Russell Wilson they're not going to trade Russell Wilson? Like you said, it's a huge cap hit. You're not going to bench Russell Wilson. You can't. He's a veteran quarterback. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And you're out here in the media telling him indirectly, what's what.
Right.
What if he just says, not up in here? What are you gonna do? Exactly. you're gonna lose the quarterback, and it's gonna be a civil war in the locker room from jump, and you're never gonna get it right. And they'll get rid of you before they'll get rid of Russ.
Right.
Because he's not a cap hit.
I'm with all y'all on that one, but I'm looking for a comment from Tanja. Let me see.
What's up, Tanja?
She said something I wanted to address it.
Uh-oh.
No, it wasn't bad. It was, I can't find it, but she asked, oh, here it is. What y'all think about Humphrey asking players to come play with the Ravens, and they said, are y'all paying Lamar? Ravens organization didn't think about that, did they? That's everybody's question.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, that's everybody's question.
Ravens they don't think about much of anything.
I just think Marlon was out there flirting with the other players.
Right. Yeah. They might have been trying to get him. That might be what's going on.
Like the Ravens are acting like those dorks that like first time getting a hot girlfriend, like they don't know how to act, right? Like they, you know what I'm saying? They've never experienced that before. Right. And like they just don't know what to do. Like everything that they're doing right now is how a bad team would handle the situation, right? Because their system that they had, in terms of like bringing in players and fitting their their philosophy and all that stuff, it worked up to a certain point, and that's because they were never in a position to get a quarterback like Lamar, right? They were never in a position to get a superstar quarterback, so that never factored into how they, ran this team. But they end up getting one, and it threw everything for a loop, and they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to adjust.
It's crazy that they even go there with it. But let's move on to the next guy.
Hold up, Coach. Just one more thing about Russ.
Go ahead.
Just one last thing. Let's ride. and they'll be fine.
You know what? Since you said that, I did have a comment about Russ. I do think last year was a fluke. I personally think last year was a fluke.
Let's hope
Because
so.
he literally fell off the cliff. Literally.
And quick,
He literally
real
fell,
quick.
like straight down, no angle descent, straight off a cliff in Hawaii into the water. So I don't.
Maybe it's the altitude.
It could be. Could be. All those things, come to mind. Because I know, well, I've seen that Dion is training his guys differently because of the altitude up there. So hopefully they can use that he's trying to use that as a plus for them when they have home games to run people out and get them tired and stuff like that. So they using the altitude as some kind of training. However they doing the training up there. I didn't see the whole video. I just was kind of reading over it. Next guy. This is the guy I was rooting for to get a head job. I think deserved one. Did a great job with San Francisco's defense. Also had good players though too. So don't be discredited by that. But DeMeco Ryans is the new Texans coach. What you think about that, B?
I think that is a fantastic hire for Houston and a much better hire than they deserve, considering how they treated their last couple coaches.
Right.
But like I said, he did a great job in San Francisco. He played in Houston, and I think it's gonna work as long as the front office and ownership allow it the time to work, because it's not going to be a 1-year turnaround. Most likely. You got to give them a few years to get everything, get the foundation built and get everything going in the right direction. Mm-hmm. But if they give him the time, I think he's going to be very, very successful.
If I'm not mistaken, I know the deals don't really matter, but he got a 6-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so if he do get fired, he living a life. Living a life. Jose, what you think about it?
No, I agree. I think Levy was building something on that defensive side, and DeMeco Ryans is going to pick up where he left off. I think you got Stingley there. They drafted Petrie. We talked about those guys. They're going to add to that this year. I think defensively they're going to be
2 firsts. I think.
Yeah. Defensively, I think you're going to see them really shoot up. And on offensive side, depends what they do at quarterback, but I think they're in a great position to compete this coming season.
Shug, if you out there, speaking of Texans, I know you kind of follow my little Twitch channel while I be playing Madden, and Texans got busy tonight. So just check it out. Shug, I know you'll be around sooner or later. So if you follow my Twitch channel, the Texans got busy before the stream tonight. Chris, what you think about this hire?
I love it. I love it. It seems like he's probably going to bring an offensive mind with him. Looks like that's his plan to bring
maybe
one of those offensive. Yeah. So I mean, that's a really good look. If he can do that, maybe they get the hell's his name, Bryce Young. Maybe they get Bryce Young too, and now you're really cooking because they already have a strong offensive line, really good young running back. Now they just need the quarterback and they need the wide receivers to go with it. So they're going to be an interesting team. I kind of see them almost in a similar way that I saw the Lions when they first hired Dan Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I see the kind of vision that those two dudes want with their teams, and I'm excited to see them build and how they'll look in the coming seasons.
Christian Harris didn't play a lot for them, but I was high on him coming out of Alabama. I'm excited to see what DeMeco can do with him because he can run, but can he put the other intangibles into him to make him play like the linebackers he had in San Francisco? Endo?
Oh yeah, I mean I love it. Of course, I love the fact that he got a 6-year deal because that gives him a little bit more leeway, or I guess that the organization sees that it may take a little bit longer for him to get things up and running. Now, I know you said he had talent in San Francisco. He only became the defensive coordinator in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
That same team has had number 1 defensive lineman picks for years and have not been as dominant.
True.
So I think that him going down to Houston, going back home, especially with that group, they may not be talented, but they play hard.
Right.
They played hard for the black head coaches. So I think he's going to turn that around. And like Chris said, if he brings that offensive mind with him and they draft that right quarterback, and depending on also what they do with Brandon Cooks, if they keep him, I don't know. It'll be kind of hard with his cap hit.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can get one of those young quarterbacks in there and they can build something, I think he's going to actually turn them around very fast.
Gotcha. Mike?
Yeah, man. I think it was a good hire, man. I'm interested in seeing, as you guys pointed out, the coaching staff that he brings around him. I think that is very, very important. I think his OC hire has to be a slam dunk as well. To come in and play, and help him out with this young team offensively. But I think, the Texans have a few pieces, man, and they showed that this year. They were right in the game with Kansas City. It was a couple games, man. They were right in the mix of it, but you could see they faltered down the stretch just because they were young or, maybe not coached, as well as they should be. Even though, shout out to Lovey. But I think Jonathan just pointed out, you got Mechie coming back as well, and they said all signs look good for him to be healthy. So it's a good hire, man. We all talking about the 6 years, and I'm glad to see that. But they don't care. They don't care about years. Clearly, they paying a lot of coaches that
sit at home.
Yeah. So hopefully, man, he gets to see a majority of that time through, if not the whole 6 years through to bring some stability there. I think that's what they're missing. Right. If you sit on one of these coaches and let them cook a little bit, maybe you'll see the thing work out. So I'm hoping, D'Amico gets that chance, and I think he will.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the last two guys got 1 year, right?
1 year. Yep.
Lovey Smith and our guy
David Cullen.
Yeah, they got 1 year. So
they didn't get 1 year deals.
I know what I'm saying. They worked for 1 year and was booted.
So are they paying for 3 coaches now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mr. McNair's playing for 3, and is McNair still there? The owner,
his
son.
Yeah.
The father died.
Gotcha. I'm excited if he does bring Slowick with him to see what they do with the running back, because I like the running back they got. I forget his name, from Florida. Damian Pierce. I like Pierce a lot, and I'm excited to see what they can do, especially because they were running the ball with who's the 49ers backup, number 25.
Mitchell.
They were running the ball well with him, so I know if they can kind of get some of those same concepts and stuff going with Pierce, he gonna be tough. Because not only is he fast and shifty, he'll run over your butt too. So he they got pieces. But moving on to the next topic, and B, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Okay.
The Panthers got a new coach. It is Frank Wright. B is our resident Panther on the panel tonight. Tell us, let's start with you. What you think about the hire?
I think it was a good hire. I had been hoping for one of the younger offensive minds, but Frank has that head coaching experience. Obviously he ended up getting fired in Indianapolis, but he had some good years there. He brought up some coaches under him as well. Nick Sirianni was his offensive coordinator in Indianapolis for a while. And I think that he's, in the process of putting together a really good staff in Carolina right now. They hired Deuce Staley. They got, is it Evero, I believe is how you pronounce it. I can
from Denver.
The defensive coordinator from Denver, and he coached with the Rams before that. They're out talking to Jim Bob Cooter, and I think that they're waiting on the Super Bowl as well to talk to Brian Johnson and maybe Bieniemy for that offensive coordinator position. So I think that he's coming in with a plan. They're executing the plan really pretty quickly, and it's all coming together, and everything is looking good. So if they are able to hit on the quarterback pick, they should be. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say they'll be the favorites to win that division this year.
What pick y'all got?
9.
Right.
So they're gonna be hoping for CJ Stroud to get by the Colts, and then trade up to get him. Otherwise, they're probably looking at Anthony Richardson.
I would say, and you realistically, you're looking at AR-15 or Levitt's.
Okay, well, I don't know why we got to stay realistically. I think CJ Stroud. Listen, I didn't think Justin Fields was going to fall to them a couple of years ago, but then he did, and they passed on him.
He did. The thing is, what I think is going to happen for you guys in a positive way is people going to DR Will Levis, and somebody going to pick him higher, and then y'all going to get a chance to get whichever one don't go first.
The Colts. The Colts are going to take Will Levis because that's a very Colts pick to make. With their, I mean, they haven't hired their head coach yet. What I saw is that the odds-on favorite in Indianapolis is Wink Martindale now. Is what they're saying.
Good luck with that.
So I think we can count on them to make a mistake, and Carolina will get their quarterback in the future this year. Finally.
Yeah. So so a little off topic. You brought Wink Martindale. Me and B had this debate. This is how the whole coaching tree started. This argument started yesterday. Wink Martindale, if he gets this head coaching job, does that count as fall under Harbaugh's tree or Brian Dable's tree?
Well, he came from Denver, so
yes. But he didn't even coach for a full year under the head coach in Denver. They got fired.
Yeah, that is true.
So.
It's got to be Harbs
or New England. He came from New England.
He was a position coach there.
He was like a linebacker coach or something, I think.
Yeah,
it'll be Harbs. Got to be Harbs.
So basically, you're trying to see if this coaching plant can go to a coaching branch.
basically, because
it ain't a lot behind it.
Because Rex Ryan, some people put him under Harbaugh's tree, but Rex Ryan was not. Yeah, he was Billick's guy. Yeah.
Or Marvin Lewis.
Gotcha. Anybody else want to talk about the Panthers?
I like the hire.
I like the hire. I think he was the head for our OC spot.
Come on,
he got that job. So I'm cool with that hire because I think he's a guy with enough experience, and it just was a cluster in the coach.
I think him vouching for Carson Wentz is what got him the axe in Indy. Because I think he got the short end of the stick for their failures as an organization. Because he wasn't a bad coach. It's just the team sucked. They couldn't even have a quarterback. I mean, you got 43-year-olds playing quarterback for you every season,
and then the injuries.
You arguably got the best guard in the league, and at one point, arguably the best running back.
Yeah,
and then they went. And I know JT was hurt this year, but
they all were hurt. They all got hurt. But Andrew Luck retiring, that kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything.
Yeah, they still hurting from that.
Yep.
Have they even got a decent quarterback since then?
No,
Jacoby Brissett.
They went to Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and Matt Ryan. So
that'll be a no.
Yeah,
big fat no.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to touch on Carolina?
It's a good hire, man. But I think, me personally, I think if you're gonna go that route, I think Wilkes should have gotten the job. But it's not a bad hire at all. But if you were going to make that type of hire, I think Wilkes is already in the building. And there were even talks of him. It was even talks of Frank coming in as their OC. Like he had interviewed for being their OC, and I guess maybe he had such a good interview. It came down to them wanting him as a coach, but not a bad hire at all.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it because I think didn't the owner say he wanted an offensive coach?
Yeah, from the beginning. So what you mean when you say that kind of hire, Mike?
I'm saying a guy who was let go of his last job. I mean, you weren't hearing his name as one of that hot candidates or anything for a job. We were all hearing about him being a coordinator. So if that was the case, right? Wilkes in the building, he showed that he could do some things. He had a solid finish to the year. I just think it's a bad look. Just on organization from that standpoint. I'm just saying.
Now, this is one time I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Mike. I think that because that they knew they were going a quarterback first round, they needed that offensive coach to kind of bring him through. Because listen, if I'm a new coach and I'm tied to the quarterback you bringing in, he better be an offensive coach to teach him. We can see what a special teams or defensive coach will do for a team. Now, Frank,
where we see that at?
We already know, but I just think that Frank Wright is the right man to take Will Levis to the next level.
And they got a great one in their DC. I mean, that was a great hire
Yes,
for the
yes,
NBC.
yes,
Now they
yes.
just got to put the cherry on top and hire Giro as the OC.
I hate all y'all.
I want.
Oh, they hired Giro. They must be drafting Malik Cunningham.
I want Deuce Staley to get that job, man. I think he deserves a shot at OC.
Yeah, true.
You know what? He didn't get it though. So we're gonna get Brian Johnson.
Stay tuned.
And, we're gonna get Brian Johnson, and Deuce gonna spend another year learning, and then he can spread his wings somewhere else. Right?
Wow.
Question B is Brian your all in with Brian?
I wouldn't, not all in. I mean, I would prefer Brian, but you know, I think that JBC did a good job, a decent enough job when he was coordinator in Detroit before, and he's the pass game coordinator in Jacksonville now, as he's doing a good job there. So I wouldn't be mad at that. But you know, Brian Johnson right now is the guy that I would prefer.
Gotcha. All right, moving on to the next topic. So what we're going to do is, if you don't know, the NFLPA started their own postseason awards, so to speak, and they didn't really give out anything. They just got together as players and made a list of, like, they did a all pro team, which to me, I respect it more than I respect the writers one, because they're actually playing against these guys. Some people feel differently, but you know, this is my opinion. But they also did a top 5, which I thought was interesting, and we're gonna kind of go through those positions and look at it and say, you know, fine, or somebody should have been up there, or you know, just kind of, you know, bounce ideas off the wall. We're gonna go through this list, you know, pretty swiftly and see what you guys think about it. You can put your comments in the chat box too, and if you're watching later, put it in the comment section how you feel about these guys on this NFLPA top 5 list at each position. So the first position I'm going to throw up is running back and quarterback. All right, so number 1, they have Pat Mahomes. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Jalen Hurts. Number 4, Joe Burrow. And number 5, Lamar Jackson. Mike, what you think about this list?
So this is based off of this year's play, right?
Yes.
All right, so I think Hurts should be 1, and then Mahomes, and then you may Burrow, Allen, and then Jackson would be that's how I would rank it. I think Jalen Hurts is the MVP this year, in my opinion. Now Mahomes played great, and you know, if he's the 1B to my MVP choice, but I think the turnaround, in the way Jalen played and leading his team to the Super Bowl, I don't think anybody expected that. So that's how I would rank it.
Gotcha. Hendo?
For this list, I would bump Jalen Hurts up to number 2. I would put Burrow at number 3 and put Josh Allen at number 4. It just, for some reason, Josh Allen plays down to the level of competition. It just has turnovers in bunches. Just stupid turnovers. Not just he was trying to make a play.
I feel like he had ego turnovers.
He do. Like, he'll try to just flip the ball sideways. He'll just do something dumb. But for me, Patrick Mahomes, MVP, best quarterback in the league. They got rid of Tyreek Hill, and he still led the league in passing and touchdowns.
Sure did. And did all that off 1.5 legs last week.
With Juju Smith-Schuster.
Who was always hurt.
And Kadarius Toney.
But not really. Was Valdez Scanlon was the guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
The guy that couldn't catch balls from Aaron Rodgers was dropping them and went over there and balled out. Chris?
Yeah, I would probably have it Mahomes 1 for the same reasons Hendo said. You know, you take away his best wide receiver and he doesn't even miss a beat. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it should be Patrick Mahomes, then you start another list, and then it's everybody else. Number 2, I would go Jalen Hurts. Then I'll put Josh Allen number 3 because Josh Allen got no offensive line. Like, no offensive line. And, you know, they got his Patrick Ricard looking ass just running all over the place. So, you know, I give him props for that. Burrow, I mean, I got mixed feelings on Burrow. You know, he could throw, you know, a nice little slant, and then Jamar take care of the rest. Nice little jump ball, and, you know, T come right down with it. So, you know, it's definitely a difference in weapons that he has compared to the rest of the guys on this list. And
honestly, Chris, we can look at it and say, them 5 up there, he has by far
By far.
Well, I ain't gonna say by far because Hurts
No,
got pretty good
I wouldn't
guys.
say by far.
Not by far, but by far other than Hurts, he got the best set of skill guys around him.
Right, like wide receivers.
And back.
Right, yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
that? That's Hendo, wasn't
That's head.
Always say no.
I mean, no, you're right. I mean, but listen, Philly's running backs ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
they
still
got Joe
think
Mixon.
Mixon's. Yeah, I think Mixon's better than
And-
them guys. Now as a
and-
collective, they're better.
And
I
P
think
Ryan
they
ain't
can-
P
But we're
Ryan
talking
ain't
about,
nothing.
but no,
mess
but
with too.
we're talking about this year though, right? We're talking about 700-yard Joe Mixon this year, right?
700-yard Joe Mixon. I don't think that's a credit to him. I think that's a credit to whoever's calling plays with him.
Okay, but I thought we were just talking about this year, not collectively.
What did Miles Sanders do this year?
He had over
1,200.
1,200 yards rushing.
1,200.
Well, never
Mixon
mind.
had 1,200 yards total.
Jose.
I mean, look, I got no problem with how this is ranked. I think I find it interesting though that I mean it's very telling that Lamar missing the last 6 games of the season, that the players still view him as a top 5 quarterback in the league. That I think that's very telling, given the lack of weapons. He's easily he has the worst weapons on this list. Probably the worst coaching, and he got hurt, so he missed a big chunk of the season, and the players are just like, yeah, I still don't want to see that guy on the field, right? I think that speaks volumes to the impact that he has on the game. Also interesting, who's not on this list, Justin Herbert, because I've heard his name being thrown out there as a top 5 quarterback. The players don't seem to think that way,
Right.
so, but the list is fine. You could change it up a little bit, but I mean, top 5 is top 5. You're in the top 5, you're good.
B.
Yeah, I think these are the 5. The only change I would make, I would move Josh Allen down to 5th and bump everybody else up 1. But yeah, these are the top 5 guys in the league, so it's it's a good list.
Yeah, I would switch Burrow and Lamar, and I'd switch also Josh Allen and Hurts. So I would have Mahomes 1, Hurts 2, Allen 3, Lamar 4, Burrow 5, and I thought about leaving Lamar at 5 because he didn't finish the year, but just thinking about what he did and where he was before he got hurt, he was probably the MVP favorite.
Yeah, and
it just fell off, and that's with D-Rob as his best receiver. So, bread man. Let's go to running backs. They got Josh Jacob at 1, Nick Chubb at 2, Tony Pollard at 3, Christian McCaffrey at 4, Saquon Barkley at 5. B.
So I think it's fun to have Josh Jacobs number 1. He was outstanding this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why Tony Pollard's a 3rd.
That's
So
crazy.
Nick Chubb also had a very good year, but I would probably bump him down to 4 and put McCaffrey at 2, Saquon at 3, Chubb at 4, and Pollard. I mean, we could have it at 4, I guess, but if we're gonna have 5, I guess you can go ahead and throw Pollard in there.
Hey, B. Pollard had a solid year. Now he was on my fantasy team.
He did have a solid year. He was
catching and receive. I mean, and running.
He was solid.
And if Zeke didn't make so much more money,
He'd got more.
Probably would have had. Yeah, exactly. Hendo. He would have got more shine.
Well, but yeah, the question is, what would he do with more touches? Like, is it
more
because
yards?
Is it because Zeke is making so much more money, or is it because they think he can't carry the load? He can't.
I think it's Zeke making, because he showed out. TP showed out some games with about 8 carries.
Mm-hmm. And that's where some guys need to be. And if you try to bump them up to 20, they don't look as good.
Yeah, true. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I like Tony Pollard. I mean, just, but he doesn't belong ahead of Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley.
Now that part I do agree. Jose?
Yeah, I would have Tony. I mean, I'm not sure if I had Tony Pollard on the list, for being honest.
I would,
but
who would you replace him with?
Damian Pierce,
Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins. I mean, any number of guys, really.
Yeah, but this is from the perspective of the players. So that tells you a little something, like when you're playing on the field against these guys, that they're telling you like these are the guys that are hard to defend. Right. So I mean, it says something, right? It says something. But I wouldn't have Tony Pollard on this list.
I'll tell you what, the players voted Tyler Huntley into the Pro Bowl too. So
listen, they said rank your quarterbacks 1 through 32 because somebody has to go. Crazy. Like, well, I guess Tyler started.
Chris,
I probably go. I like 1 and 2. I think that's fine. I think Chubb would be head and shoulders 1 if he didn't split a backfield. I think he's the most talented back in the league. Pollard, I'm taking him straight up off the list. I'm with you, B. I'm taking him off. I'm bumping up McCaffrey to 4, Saquon 5. I mean, yeah, McCaffrey 3, Saquon 4, and then Derrick Henry 5. And I feel sorry because I want to put Austin Eckler in there too, but he just misses.
That's another name that somebody mentioned. He didn't have a lot of yards this year. Was Cook, Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I
think easy. Yeah, after JT. Yeah, Kamara.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of other names out there. Hendo.
Yeah. So I guess for this year alone, we got to keep Josh Jacobs up there because, listen, he knew his contract was up with Las Vegas, and he's like, "Look, I got to show out," and did his thing. Nick Chubb, like Chris said, most talented back in the league, in my opinion, and he just got Kareem Hunt with him, so I keep him at 2. At 3, I bring up Christian McCaffrey. At 4, I put Derrick Henry, and 5, I keep it Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Henry not being on this list is crazy. Mike.
Yeah, Pollard, he got to go. Henry got to be on this list. 1 and 2, yeah, 1 and 2, fine. I would put Henry at 3. I think he was second in the league in rushing.
He was.
And I guess you can keep C-Mac at 4 and Saquon at 5, but you got to get Henry on this list somewhere.
How did they leave him off of the list?
Yeah, I don't know.
I personally would have the same list you have, Mike. Just take Pollard out and insert Henry.
Jonathan Washington Jr. says Jamal Williams. That's another good one.
Yeah,
but Jamal got a lot of red zone carries. He didn't really get the 20 to the 20s.
He got him though.
He led him in. He did lead the league in touchdowns, I think.
He did.
But yeah, he broke Detroit's record for touchdowns.
He got a lot of carries from the 20 in. Swift was doing the heavy lifting. But they're still, scoring touchdowns.
Jamal had the carries that count, though.
He had them TJ Duckett touchdowns.
Right.
The LeGarrette Blunt special.
How about that?
Back when Steve McNair was at Alcorn, they had a guy named Harry Brown. They called him Touchdown Harry Brown. And Steve would throw for 400, 500, 600 yards. And Harry Brown would have 5 carries for 4 touchdowns and be the swagger of the week.
Like that one game that Jerome Bettis had 3 carries for 1 yard and 3 touchdowns.
Let's move to wide receiver. I'm going to start with you, Mike. They got Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown. What you think about it?
Yeah, I can't argue this list. I think Justin. I'll put Justin at 1. Yeah, this looks fine to me. I might bump AJ Brown up, maybe above Tyreek, maybe above Diggs. That's a stretch, but this 5 right here, I don't have a problem with. I mean, I think. Yeah, no dispute there. I mean, listen, I'm also looking at it from a standpoint of a fan who doesn't have anything close to any of these guys. So
right.
I take whoever you don't want. I'd take in a heartbeat.
They all look like Randy Moss to us.
Right, and I mean, and I think Agent E said it like. That was my thought, Agent E. Like, and my man Big Reg, I'm thinking like, damn, Chase probably should be on this list, but it's like, if he's not, I'm not gonna argue it. But I mean, where you put him at? Who you taking off this list
I already know.
for
I'm
Chase?
taking AJ Brown off.
Exactly.
As much as I love AJ
He's
Brown.
gone.
But he missed a good chunk of the season, though.
Hey, if
Still
we,
had
Yeah,
1,000
yeah.
yards.
if
Yeah.
we
Still.
talking about missing the season, you some Dion about that too, man.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, AJ Brown had 1,500 yards
Sure
receiving.
did. And,
So-
and he had another guy with 4 yards is less than 1,200.
Yeah,
The other kid
15
had 1,196. Number
1,400,
6.
1,496 yards, 88 receptions, 11 touchdowns.
Yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I get the Chase thing, but I'm not. Chase had
I got to think in terms of production this year.
This year.
That's what I got to keep.
yeah.
I can't think. I be thinking full body of work. I got to think in terms of production this year. And if now that you say that in terms of production this year, AJ probably got to be up there.
Hey, in real talk, man, honorable mention CD Lamb. I don't think CD getting enough props, but he bought out the shit, man.
You know, at one point, and this probably gonna ruffle some feathers. Somebody told me that CD would be number 2 on our team.
Tuh.
Receiver.
So
To Bateman.
who said that?
Who
I
said?
don't remember
that?
who said it, but I remember it was said.
Hey,
I mean,
Coach,
maybe
I need to find out.
Maybe in targets because Pat Ricard would be number 1.
Hey, and for AJ Brown, he did bump his team up. He got a major bump up for them to be in the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So that holds a lot of weight too.
Yep.
Thanks. And he's under new offensive system, so
Mm-hmm.
And whoever made that comment, that coach said, "Look, just exit quietly. We won't."
It was during the season. I think it was shortly after he got hurt or something like that. And I just mentioned that CD Lamb was that dude, and it was a little back and forth on Twitter saying that he would be number 2 to Bateman on our team. Right around that time, remember we were having the discussions about the worst receiving. Yeah, we had that list. It was around that time.
Name
we
names.
Talking about that list.
Name names.
I just don't remember. I don't remember. That was a while ago.
When Baltimore fans got defiant and the football guy showed them what's what.
Hendo or Chris? Which one?
Okay, so you got to keep Justin Jefferson number 1, but for number 2, I'm going to put Tyreek Hill there. He damn near, for the most part of the season, led the league in receiving yards, and then you got to realize he has Jalen Waddle on the other side, and Tua Tagovailoa,
Teddy Bridgewater,
and Skylar. What's his name? Thompson as his quarterback, and he still came highly in the league. So I bring him to second. Third, I'm going to put AJ Brown. 4th, Devontae Adams, and 5th, Stephon Diggs.
Chris?
I'll go Jefferson 1, Devontae 2, Tyreek 3, AJ Brown 4, and Diggs 5.
Jose?
I got Tyreek 1, man. I mean, almost 1,800 yards, and you talk about nightmares. I still had nightmares about what he did to us. In 2 minutes, you blink and he's in the end zone.
Sure.
Jefferson 2, Adams 3. I'll put. Look, I had AJ Brown at the bottom, but you convinced me. I'm bumping him up to 4. I'll put Diggs at 5.
B.
Yeah, I'll go Justin Jefferson, Tyreek, Devontae, and then Brown and Diggs.
I got Jefferson 1 also. Go ahead, B. I'm sorry, I mean cut you off.
No, I was just saying you can't go wrong with any of these 5.
Somebody said no Hollywood. But I got Jefferson at 1 simply because they knew where the ball was going. Everybody they played with Tyreek, you had options. They knew where the ball was going for Minnesota. It was going to Justin, and if you stop it, fine. If not, the only reason that he would run wide open because they ran the ball decently with that stretch stuff. You had to kind of respect the play action with Dalvin Cook, and he would run those deep overs and whatnot. But in 3rd and long situations, when it was I got to throw it, for the most part, the ball was going to him, and occasionally to Osborne. But for the most part, it was going to Jefferson, and he still pushed 2,000 yards, which is crazy. We had 2 receivers this year push 2,000 yards, him and Tyreek Hill. And I think if Tua don't get hurt, I think Tyreek gets it.
Yep.
I think Tyreek gets it. So I got Tyreek 2. I hate to say Devontae at 3 because I think he's the best route runner in the league. AJ Brown at 4, Stephon Diggs at 5. And I'm really disappointed I got him up here, but I'm disappointed at the year Diggs had because in crunch time, the real crunch time, he didn't show up.
Yeah.
He didn't show up. So it is what it is. Fullback, Juice Tech is to me by far the best fullback in the game. And then we got 42 up there. Ingold, I know of a little bit, but the other two guys, I don't have a freaking clue who they are. Do we want to mention them, or we just want to hop on to ease on down the
Nobody cares about fullback. It's just
Pat
one
number
and nobody
I
else.
would say if you finish below number 1, you should get cut.
And get my $7 million back.
Project Pat number 1 on this list.
Stop it, Mike.
Easy E. We following your lead. Skip.
Skip.
So tight ends, we got Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, and Evan Ingram. This, like you said with Pat Mahomes, this should be a separate list. It should be a line up under Travis Kelce's name. Then it's just start over with the rest of the tight ends. 1 George Kittle, 2 Mark Andrews. But I think it's obvious Kittle's number 1 for every. I'm gonna speak for everybody. Kittle's number 1 for everybody, and then I'll go from there. B. I mean, not Kittle. I'm sorry, Kelce. Kelce.
Yeah.
My bad.
Those are obviously the top 2, and it kind of doesn't matter after that. The other, I think, difference making tight ends in the league are Darren Waller and Kyle Pitts. And Kyle, I'll say, he was having a terrible season and tore his ACL. Darren Waller was hurt for most of the year. So, you have 2 elite tight ends, and then you have 3 good ones. I'll bump Evan Ingram up 1 spot just for turning his career around.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that.
Bears.
I'd flip Ingram and Hawkinson. Jose?
I think Dallas Goedert should be on this list.
Yeah.
I think he should be on this
Had a
list.
good year.
Yeah, I mean, he got hurt too, but yeah, he's having a really. I mean, everybody feels having a good year.
Who would you drop for Goddard?
Oh man,
Don't say Evan.
Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews.
We talking about for this year.
Yeah, for this year.
Yeah. You know what? Mark probably shouldn't be that high if we're thinking about this year. Then
I'll take him off the list.
That's
well,
crazy.
I mean, he was over 800 yards, right? It's just that it was such a disappointment off a 1,300 yard season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's still Travis Kelce and everybody else, and I still think it's 2 tiers. Well, it's 3 tiers. It's Kelce. Then you look at Andrews, Kittle, Waller. Mm-hmm. I would say Pitts, but Ingram probably took that spot right now. Then you got everybody else, in my opinion. Chris?
I would, obviously Kelce, George Kittle too. I think it'd be a lot closer between Kelce and Kittle if Kittle was in a position where he could get the ball thrown to him a lot more. Mm-hmm. But he's asked to block so much that hurts his statistical output. But he's so good at it. He's good at everything. Like he could dice you up in a pass game. He could dice you up in a run game. Like to me, he's the best all around tight end, around blocking and receiving. Like
I respect
the whole package. Then Mark Andrews 3. Hawkinson, he had a good year. Like once he got with Minnesota, like he started blowing up, and Detroit was like, "Look, you good, but we're not paying you, so peace out." Evan Ingram, he had a nice little resurgence, but I think without that injury, I think Dallas Goedert would have been number 5 because he was on his way to having a really good season before that injury.
We saw a lot from what's the guy that do the skedaddle?
Gesicki.
Gesicki had a decent year too. He had to have a decent year because I saw the skedaddle way too much. Too much.
One is too much.
Hendo.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Jose convinced me. So I'm gonna go Travis Kelce, George Kittles, of course. At 3, I'm gonna put Hawkinson. At 4, Evan Ingram for his resurgence. But at 5, I'm gonna put Pat Frymuth. Like he had a very decent year with a rookie quarterback. So I'll put him over Mark Andrews because he showed up when he needed to, unlike Andrews.
Very decent is better than Mark Andrews now?
We talking about this year.
Oh.
This year only.
Yikes.
That's why I got to keep that wrapped around my head too. This year only. Mike?
Look, they bugging. Mark Andrews is on this list.
Get
Yeah, I'm saying
him straight, Mike.
Mark Andrews, he is not near one of these other cats went through the quarterback struggles that he went through, and having to keep his sanity, right?
Mhm.
So the numbers was solid.
Kittle did.
Well, Kittle, you right. Kittle did have a quarterback
3
carousel
guys.
there.
Yeah.
But he also was in a competent system where you could plug and play anybody there, and it worked out for him. And so he deserves to be on this list. So, but I keep it just like this. If I would move anybody, it would be Ingram. I think Dallas Goedert maybe. But I like Ingram there too. I think Goddard missed some time this year, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what's kind of throwing me off there. But you got to have Ingram on this list. And I agree with you guys. Kelsey is on a list of his own. He on a whole nother page with these guys. But yeah, I'm cool with this list.
All right, left tackle. Trent Williams for the 49ers, Tunsil for the Houston Texans, Andrew Thomas for the Giants. Andrew Young, ain't it?
I think it's like the 3rd or 4th year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a tie for 4th and 5th. Jordan Matala from the Eagles. I hope I said that right. And Terrion Armstead for the Dolphins. Armstead, they just signed in free agency this year. It was one of their big pickups with Tyreek Hill. And with this list, I'm cool with it. I can't think of anybody that would knock any of these guys off. Not even Ronnie this year, even though Ronnie had a decent year. What about you, Mike?
So hold on, let me throw this out there. Y'all remember when we were supposedly trading or getting ready to trade for Jordan Matala or whatever his name is? Yeah. There was talks of him being a part of that Chuck Clark deal. Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would it look like if we would have grabbed this guy who is rated one of the top left tackles in the league? Listen, in my opinion, we were talking about this, Jose. Trent Williams is of this list is the guy that's on his own page.
Facts.
Once I seen
at 35.
At 35.
Yep.
I didn't see it much this year, but last year when they were moving him in motion, and he having a full head of steam coming at whoever was on that side, like to be able to move like that, and that just amazed me. So that brother is on his own list. I didn't know much about Andrew Thomas, but I thought the Giants line was a little whack, but I guess he was the bright spot.
Saquon was able to run.
Saquon did get off. I think Armstead got hurt this year though, right?
He did.
Yeah.
So I'm putting Ronnie there for Armstead. I think Ronnie proved a lot of the doubters wrong who said he wouldn't be able to recover from that injury. So I'm gonna put Ronnie there.
Cool. Hendo?
Yeah, Trent Williams all by himself. Laremy Tunsil, even though he's been on multiple teams, he's outstanding left tackle. And to Mike's point, Armstead missed time, but Stanley missed time. So I'm gonna leave this as is.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm pretty much go with this group. I know Teron Armstead, he was playing at a high level before he got injured. So even though he did miss time, I give him credit because he was balling out when he was healthy. So yeah, I'm good with this list too.
Jose?
I'm putting Orlando Brown on this list.
Where about?
I'm just kidding. No, I like the list, man. I wouldn't change it.
And B?
Yeah, no, I think this is a solid list. I wouldn't make any changes.
Cool. Moving on to the next one. The next one we got right tackle. Lane Johnson, Tristan Wirfs, Penei Sewell, Ryan Ramczyk from the Saints, and Brian O'Neill from the Minnesota Vikings. There is a glaring name missing from this list. His name is Morgan Moses.
I was about to say the same thing.
Where's the ops?
The ops.
Jokingly, but go ahead, B. Take the right tackle.
Now, I thought that Tristan had missed some time, but maybe that was just the entire rest of their line. I think this is a pretty solid list. If anything, I would maybe move maybe move Sewell up a spot, but outside of that, I think it's a good list.
If I'm not mistaken, Sewell and Wirfs are both second or third year players, correct?
Sewell
Yeah.
is second.
Sewell is second,
year. Yeah.
And what about Wirfs?
Wirfs was the year
Third?
before, I believe.
Third.
Okay, so you got two young guys up there. Lane is a veteran.
Mhm.
I know Ramchick's a veteran. I don't know the age. I don't know the
Drafted
age.
him.
He hasn't been in league that long either. I think. Is he still
He's
in the
like
league?
5, but
Who?
4 or 5 maybe.
Ryan Ramchick.
About
Ramchick,
6.
Yeah, he's the same year as they got Kamara,
We should have drafted him. Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it was a year after.
Hey, Creed Humphrey, Baltimore Ravens. That's wrong.
Jose.
Yeah, I wouldn't change this list. I mean, I don't know much about Brian O'Neill, but the rest of these guys, yeah, looks solid to me.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna act like I'm be like, oh no, this dude got B4, this dude got B5. So yeah, y'all got it right.
Hendo.
Yeah, they pick good.
Mike.
Man, put my man Morgan on this list, man.
Morgan over Brian.
Boy, well, why not? Yeah, but nah. I mean, I'm with you guys. I'll take it. I do like Penei Sewell. I do like that guy. He's a big boy.
They did him like you mentioned with Trent this year.
Yeah,
and then threw it to him.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He out there making noise. So I just wanted to point him out. But yeah, I'm cool with this.
All right. As far as center, I think they meant to. As far as with Baltimore Ravens, they should have had Kansas City Chiefs. But as far as these guys on here, our guy got to go. Our guy needs to be on this list.
Yes.
To me,
Linderbaum.
Linderbaum needs to be on this list.
I think he had a very good year.
I'm taking the Bills guy off.
Mitch
And I'm
Morse,
putting Linderbaum there. What you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, I'm with that. And I think Kelsey is not quite on his own list, but he's close. Just the way that for his size, man, the way he controls the line. They was showing like they was pointing him out on the quarterback sneaks and like what he does on that play and how low he gets to push the pile. Like there's little things like that, veteran moves that these guys who are at the top of their game, they do that, and that's what makes them great. But yeah, I think you got to put Linderbaum on there. We spoke about it when we did the end of the year grades for the Ravens and just how Linderbaum for the most part, man, held his own against some stout tackles. So I think you gotta get that brother some props there.
Jose, I mean not Jose, Hendo.
I'm gonna take Corey Linsley off. He missed a lot of time. He was injured, so I'd take him off, bump everybody else up, and in the 5th spot, I'm going to put Bradley Bozeman. Oh no! I'm sorry, Tyler Linderbaum. Yeah, so
You hate me for a second. I thought you was for real.
I do take Linsley off and put Linderbaum at the 5th position.
Chris.
I'm the same as Hendo. I'm taking Linsley off, and I'm putting in. I'm gonna bump up Creed Humphrey to 3. I'm gonna put our guy at 4 and Mitch Morse at 5.
Gotcha. Jose.
Linsley and Morse both missed some significant time, right? Yeah. So I would probably put Linderbaum at 3. That's right, 3, and then Linsley and Morse 4 and 5.
And honestly,
I'm sorry. No, we got to take one off. Take one off. So Morse, you got to go.
For the future, he's probably going to be 2 or 1 for the next 10 or so years. Speaking about Linderbaum.
Yeah, Kelsey's almost done. But Kelsey is consistently one of the best centers every year.
It's crazy. It's crazy how the same household.
That's what I'm about to say.
Got like a chokehold on their position.
Yeah,
that's crazy. What you think about that list, B?
Yeah, I think that the Kelsey brothers, one of them's about to get their second Super Bowl, and the other one will still have one. They're closing in on the Mannings, and they're far more likable. I'm hoping they take them down. But for the list, I think that I would probably take off Morris and put in Linderbaum, but I think the rest of it's fine.
Cool. Moving right along. Left guard and right guard. For me, I really love Quentin Nelson, but for what the Browns do in the run game with Chubb and with what's the other kid? Kareem Hunt. I can't go wrong with Joe. Tooney, nah, but I really like Nelson. And then I don't know if you noticed or not, but this is the fourth Eagle on these lists.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth. So, and for his right guard, Zach Martin to me was head and shoulders above everybody else this year. And we might can slide Zeitler in here on this list. Maybe.
No, we can't.
I think you should over Trey Smith. I think so.
But I just went through both of them. I would slide Zeitler in for, like Chris said, with Trey. And I really want Quentin to be the number one guy, but I'll do Joe, how you say his name? I call him Bits because I couldn't say his name, and then slide everybody else down. What you think about however you say it, Mike? Do both positions.
I want to some kind of way, and I'm sitting here thinking, how can I get Ben Powers on this list?
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at that
because I think Chris pointed it out a couple times throughout the season in the roundtable. Like Ben Powers, man, like he was probably the most steady on that line, man. He didn't really hurt us like we were expecting him to. But I mean, everybody else on this list balled out, I guess, to the most point. So I don't know who I would take him out at left guard, but that's make him an honorable mention. And then right guard, yeah, y'all got that. I trust y'all.
You believe him?
I trust y'all. I would go with y'all choice on the right guard list.
Hendo.
Yeah, I like this list. The players know exactly what they're talking about, so I'm gonna stick with what they're saying.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, this list is good except for that Trey Smith. I think Zeitler had a really good year this season. And then Chris Lindstrom, he looked like a bust. So that's an important note on development of players and patience because he looked like a bust early on, and look at him on this list right now.
You know, Lindstrom was the guy that Peter rolled Oway out of the club.
Yep,
that was Lindstrom. Yeah, just in case you don't know, that was Lindstrom. Jose.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly can't go too far into this list, but look, if there's an Eagle on the list, then they got it right, okay? Because that whole O line are some bullies. Right. So,
and B.
Yeah, I mean, I would go with the list as are. I just want to point out though that we've had various people on here say we putting Ronnie on the list. Might trying to put Ben Powers on the list. We all put Tyler Linderbaum on the list.
There we go.
We're trying to get Zeitler on the list. And every week we came on this show and talked about how bad the O-line played.
Not bad, inconsistent.
No, they were.
Nobody brought up Morgan Moses.
It was all on Morgan.
The only person I said was Zeitler.
You said Morgan Moses.
I was joking.
I know.
Can't have one of the two ops on the team. The other op ain't going nowhere though. But I put Tess in the chat box because Brandon has been it came up on my other stream that he's a goated member of the channel for 5 months. I want to make sure I shout out Brandon for being a goated member of the channel, and that's the highest level of channel membership you can have. And actually, shout out to B because Brandon not only is a member, he's a patron also. So he's double duty, and he says, "Bring on the punters." I want to see where that high pick stout landed, and that's for Hendo. Hendo, he said, "Bring on the punters." He want to see where that high pick stout landed.
My man.
Let's move on from the line. I did get everybody right. I didn't skip anybody.
Yeah.
All right. Edge rushers. This side is a little bit more exciting. Woo! This side is a little bit more exciting. You got Nick
Matt Judon,
Myles Garrett at 2, Max Crosby at 3, Michael Parsons at 4, Matt Judon at 5. Start B.
Max Crosby at 3 just bothers me. I just don't like it. So I'm gonna move him down to 5. I'm gonna bump the other two up. and that's fine.
Jose.
I got Matt Judon 3, Michael Parsons 4. Yeah, Max Crosby 5. Yep, same as B.
So I say always robbed. Chris.
I'm gonna call racism. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Michael Parsons 1, Bosa 2, Garrett 3, Judon 4, and I say Max Crosby 5.
Gotcha. Hendo.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Michael Parsons 1. I'm gonna take Bosa 2, Judon 3, Garrett 4 because he was hurt a lot of the season, and Max Crosby at 5.
Mike.
Yeah, I think Hendo kind of. I think we kind of simpatico on that. I Garrett, is a force, right? He's a force, but I think I would move him down. I think Parsons. Man, look, I'm not mad at this list either. Let me put that out there first. But I would probably move Parsons up to 1. You gotta Cosby drops to 5. Even though I like dude, he tough. He play hard, but I don't think Judon gets enough credit for what he's been doing. So Judon got to move above him. But that top 3, you can flip a coin. They all impact players at that position for sure.
Hey, I want to apologize real quick, because I said racism for Bosa being 1, but racism for me putting Max Crosby at number 5 because it should be Hassan Reddick at number 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey,
Okay.
I was gonna add him to mine. But for me, I got Parsons 1. I got TJ Watt 2. I don't care how much time he missed. I got
Hey, coach.
Yeah.
We talking about this season.
I know. I don't care.
He wasn't as dominant when he came back. Okay. You don't care.
What?
But who?
He played well. TJ Watt played well, but he wasn't as dominant as he was until he got back healthy. It took him about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that statement. But when he got healthy, he
wins.
So he's judging the last 5 weeks for TJ versus the 17 for everybody else.
Hey,
okay.
He's maybe it's because it's he in our division. And I kind of
and you see him all the time.
Yeah, but he just destroys us, and he's just on top of my brain as far as being that. Maybe I'm kind of biased on it because of that situation, but I wasn't thinking season for him. I just think about the impact he had when he played us and by himself. But I had Parsons 1, Watt 2, Garrett 3, Judon 4, and Bosa 5. And I want Hassan Reddick on there. And if I got to take TJ Watt off because he didn't finish the year, I would, bump all those guys up and put Reddick in there. But if I'm not mistaken, they got 4, if not 5 guys with 10+ sacks.
They got more sacks this season than the Falcons have had in the last 3.
70 something, right?
I think 73.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Because
they got 4 or 5 guys with 10+ sacks.
I do want to change my list. Max Crosby's off and Brian Burns is on.
Respect. Nose tackle. And I don't know if I cut a guy off. Maybe they just only had 4 because
probably only 4.
A bunch of guys right there. You got Dexter Lawrence, Kenny Clark, Vita Vea, and DJ Jones. I'm cool with this list. If Vita Vea had been healthy the whole year, he probably would no doubt be the number 1.
Yep.
But I'm cool with that. What about you, Mike?
Dexter Lawrence was a beast.
Hey, where's Chris Jones at on this list? Maybe he's
I think 5.
Let's see.
He's a D tackle.
Let me see. I think
we
still got.
we doing? Okay.
It's another. It's funny how they got the defense. You'll see it, but if I'm not mistaken, let me just sneak peek it real quick. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
so technically there aren't nose tackles in 4-3 defense. Is that what it is? It's
technically really not. Really, if it's a nose tackle in a 4-3, it's really whoever's playing the 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, look, Dexter Lawrence. That dude's a freak. I like him. Like you said, Vita Vea, man, athletically, he reminds me of a not so much low budget, but like a Target brand version of Nada. Because I mean, just being that big, it can
Target
move.
ain't cheap.
Nah, Target ain't cheap. I didn't want to give him the Walmart brand, but he's
Target.
Is he a little better than that? But he puts me in mind of Nada. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Kenny Clark do his thing too. I'm cool with this.
Hendo?
Yeah, I'm good with the list. Like you said, if Vita Vea was healthy, definitely number one. But Dexter Lawrence, and we saw up close and personal how he could wreck a team. So yeah, I'm good with this.
Chris?
Yeah, I would put. I know he was hurt this year, but DJ Reader would be on this list for me because that dude, he would probably be.
He probably on this other one, Chris. Let's peek it.
Is he?
He is not. So,
Okay.
so now we got controversy.
So I would put him. I'll put him two on the list because he wrecks games. Like he's just.
How many games did he miss?
I want to say like 6 or something like that, maybe 5.
He should be on this list.
Yeah,
because when he came back, it was lights out.
Right. But without him, that defense is total. You know what?
And there's only 4 on this list, so he should be on it.
And they may have just left him off because every other list has 5. Because I don't think I cut it off, but I think they just left him off. Whoever typed it up probably left him off.
Okay.
Because there are pictures of this list out, and he may be on there. But I got this off of The Athletic, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Jose?
Nah, yeah, I mean, yeah, other than not having Reader on there, I'm cool with the list.
B?
Yeah, I would probably put Vea up at number 2. But other than that, it's fine.
Cool. Interior defensive line. There's Chris Jones. A lot of people, didn't like the fact that Aaron Donald made. I think he was on the players all pro list too. A lot of people didn't like that because he missed a lot of time. You got 3 with Quentin Williams, 4 Jonathan Allen, and 5 are tied with Jeffrey Simmons and Javon Hargrave from the Philadelphia Eagles. B, what you think about this? Tough one, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean,
they even slid a 6th guy in there on us. You see that, huh?
Yeah. Took it away from the nose tackles there. But I'm pretty good with this list. It's jarring to see Aaron Donald second in anything, but Chris Jones is an absolute monster. So I'm fine with that list.
Jose?
Yeah, same. I mean, Chris Jones and Aaron Donald. Like I said, you default you think Aaron Donald's number 1, but the year Chris Jones had and Aaron Donald, missing a lot of time, that makes sense. Everybody else, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Chris?
Yeah, I would probably bump up Jeffrey Simmons to 4 and Hargrave at 5 and just knock Allen out of that because I think Hargrave had a really good season. Jeffrey Simmons probably the nastiest dude in the league.
Yeah.
Honorable mention to the division foe when Cam Hayward. That's a dude that he doesn't get the recognition he deserves, but that year in, year out, that dude is a monster. So I would go with those two. Those 5, and then Cam Hayward honorable mention.
Gotcha. Hendo?
Yeah, I'm good with this list. Chris Jones, monster. Without him, that Kansas City defense really ain't about too much. So I'm a little leery, but it is Aaron Donald. He missed some time, but it is Aaron Donald. So
gotcha.
I'm good with that.
Mike?
Aaron got to come off, man.
I'm with you.
Play.
I'm with you.
He ain't play. And I think
he played low.
He ain't play enough to be here.
But Stanley did?
I mean, yeah.
Stanley
I think Stanley played more than he did.
14, 15 games?
I would bet he played more than Aaron Donald.
Probably.
I could be wrong, but I just don't think. I don't think. I mean, he didn't play enough for me or to be on.
I see that.
They both played 11 games.
Really?
Okay. It didn't feel like Aaron Donald played 11 games this year.
Didn't.
What's his stats, B? And you the quick Google. You the quick Google man.
I was typing it in. And
he's the stat guy.
But
Aaron Donald had 5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 11 QB hits.
I'm taking them off. I think you put Cam Hayward somewhere on this list, and yeah, I think you can put Cam Hayward on this list in his place. I'm not saying that number 2, but I think Cam, had I believe he had double-digit sacks from that position. That's how I would move with this list.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I would take Aaron off and slide everybody up, but I also could see taking Hargrave off and putting Fletcher Cox there too. But
Yeah.
I think either one of those guys are fine with me. Funny thing that happened when I was putting this together, off-ball linebacker, and I started to see this term more and more, off-ball linebacker. And initially my thought on off-ball linebacker was like the guy that's like your Sam or your Will, not realizing that is the opposite of the outside linebacker, the 3-4, the off the line of scrimmage backer.
Mhm.
I felt so stupid. I was like, it finally clicked when I was putting this together. They mean the guy, like not the edge guys, because we really don't have definitive mics anymore. And I felt so dumb for not knowing that, but I realized once I was putting this together. And we got Fred Warner, Roquan, Bobby Wagner, Demario Davis, Matt Milano. Mike.
I'm gonna move Roquan to 1. Fred the Beast though, no knock on him. Bobby Wagner, I'm gonna drop down a little bit. I'm gonna put. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do Roquan, Warner. I'm gonna do Milano at 3. I think when he out there, man, that dude, as much as you don't really care for him, that dude make plays.
Who?
Matt Milano.
Yeah,
he does.
And then I guess Wagner and Davis will round out the top 5 here, but give me Roquan at 1.
Gotcha. Hendo.
For me, I like this list, but I'm gonna drop Bobby Wagner down to 5, bring Matt Milano to 4, and move Demario Davis up to 3. I think Demario Davis does a lot for New Orleans. That defense isn't really all that, especially with the cornerback. What is his name? Always been in and out the lineup. 23.
For the
Lattimore.
Rams?
For the Saints. Lattimore, yeah.
Lattimore.
Marshawn Lattimore, with him being out, they don't really have much, but Demario Davis is their Swiss Army knife, so I'll put him at 3 and keep it like that.
Chris?
I got the same list. Fred Warner, Roquan, Demario Davis, Milano, and Wagner.
Jose?
I'm taking Matt Milano off and I'm putting on Eric Kendricks for the Vikings.
Okay. You good?
Yeah,
B?
that's it.
Yeah, I agree with Hendo and Chris. Wagner to 5, bump the other guys up. And just to let you know, Coach, I looked, they did have 5 nose tackles. Number 5 was Al Woods out of Seattle.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it. It was on the picture.
I just went to the NFLPA site. They have all this in there.
Cool. Appreciate it. Did you go, B, on linebacker?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, obviously, y'all know that one of them guys coming off. You already know it. And you already know it. We about to have 2 Ravens on this list. And the thing is, I was trying to look up his stats while we were going with my computer's acting wonky. Because initially I'm thinking about taking Wags off and putting Queen at 5.
Yeah.
That's my thought process was going. I was taking Wags off and putting Queen at 5. And I was trying to, because I didn't see enough of Wags to say. That's why I was trying to look up his stats, and I was gonna have a comparison between him and Queen, but for some reason the other monitors tripping. So but yeah, F it. Wagner, you out of here. Queen going to 5.
That other monitor was trying to save you from yourself.
Coach Demar, listen.
I had to do it, man. Had to. That's my dude. Y'all had to take him for my dude. Had to. He had a. That's another day. We'll talk about that another day. Cornerback. Pastor Tan at 1, Darius Slay at 2, Jair Alexander 3, Ahmad Sauce Gardner 4, Tyreek Woolen 5. B.
Cornerback corners is real tough. There was a lot of great seasons, particularly from rookies.
Rookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like the 5 they have here. I would probably just put Sauce up to 2, and yeah, Sauce up to 2, and just drop Slay and Alexander down 1.
Cool. Jose?
I'm going Homer on this. Marlowe belongs at number 1. Okay. Number 1. I don't think he can give a touchdown all season, right?
Yeah,
Allegedly.
All right. he's number 1.
Potentially 1, but alleged. But we'll go ahead with that.
I will go Marlowe 1, Sauce 2, Darius Slade 3. Yeah, Woolen has to come off.
Woolen led the league in picks, though.
He got targeted. That's just like what's his name last year? Diggs.
No, he's not like Diggs. He can play.
Okay.
They had 2 rookies at corner. They had Kobe Bryant and Tyreek Woolen.
They did.
So who? Yeah. Look,
This is tough.
it's a tough
My
list.
thing is, this is me. If Sauce is on any list, Woolen has to be there. That's my 2 cents.
So you take Jair off? See,
Them rookies might have to come off, both of them.
it's tough. It's tough. Like it's not a diss to him, but Marlowe got to be on this list. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. And where you say you put Marlowe at 1?
1.
Gotcha. And who you taking off? Woolen?
Yeah.
Cool. Chris?
Yeah, with this list, I'm gonna say Surtain 1, Slayton 2. Yeah, I'm gonna put Sauce 3. I'm gonna put Yair 4, and I'm gonna put Marlowe 5.
Gotcha. Hendo?
Jeez. I'm gonna go Surtain 1, Jair 2, Marlowe 3, Darius 4, Sauce and Woolen 5. Tie.
Sauce and Woolen.
Yeah, it's a tie. It's a tie.
Oh yeah. We do tie.
Better,
We'll do
be
tie.
better than the players. Be better than the players, Hendo. 5 names.
We're doing ties.
They did the tie. I did the tie.
Stuck it in there. Mike?
I agree with Zay. Marlowe got to be on this list. I think Marlowe was all pro Marlowe this year. He got to be somewhere on this list. It's a tough one because I think the 2 rookies did ball out this year. So where are we putting them?
It's tough.
It is tough.
It was a good year for DBs this year.
Now, listen, I will say that as good as he's been, there have been some games that Darius Slay has gotten eaten up.
Mm-hmm.
Jair too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Jair was just loud, right? He made the play at the right time, but
But he shut down Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, did he
Loud-
shut him down?
loud-
No, he shut him
Loudly.
down.
Justin Jefferson was on target for 2,000, and because of that game versus Jair, he didn't get close to it.
Bro, he got me 2 points in fantasy.
I think he had 4 catches for like 30 yards, if that. Might have been 2 catches for 30 yards.
Yes, he got me 2 points.
And Jair followed him for the most part that game.
He was loud. He was loud. I don't know who I'm taking off, but I gotta somebody. Marlowe got to find some way on this list.
It's
Tie.
tough when there's
Tie.
5 people better than them on the list already, right?
I mean, I don't agree with that. I just don't want to take away. I don't want to take away from these young boys.
No,
who
Marlowe had a great year.
He did.
the young boys played well, but I would move Slay up to 1. In my opinion, Surtain is he's dope, but I think Slay. I don't know. I just think Slay I think he was a little louder than Surtain. Now I don't know if that means Surtain was just locking folks down and he got bored over there and we just ain't he ain't registering no stats like that. But I think Slay made a couple more plays. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess Woodland.
This is a tough list.
Sauce is the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Woodland might have had a better year than Sauce overall.
True.
He definitely had more picks.
Yeah,
I think Sauce had more passes.
Sauce
Pass
was
defending.
shutting dudes down.
Sauce was
got to the
balling,
point where
man.
They stopped throwing at him too.
Yep.
I mean, I guess I gotta leave Marlo off. I can't figure out a way to get him in here, but I think Marlo got to be on here. Yeah, I don't know how, but I guess I mean these young boys.
I'm gonna tell you how you can get Marlo in here, Mike. Tyreek was one of the top interception guys this year, but he had all that stuff early. Late on in the year, people started to figure him out and do different things versus him, and were able to get him. So you can bump Tyreek off because even though he was in the top ones of the interceptions, those picks came early. Because I remember doing a video on him like in week 5 or 6, maybe 7, and he already had 6 picks, and I think he finished with 7. He might have still finished with 6.
All right,
you can bump
there you go.
Tyreek off, and then you got a spot for Marlo.
Put all pro Marlo there then.
I'm gonna say this, Mike. I respect you sticking to 5, unlike Hendo.
Wow. So for me,
my bad. Unlike some people,
for me, I don't get the, and it's probably because I haven't watched him a lot. The Surtain hype, the Surtain knows. Not saying he's not good. Not saying he's.
I'm with you, Coach.
I just didn't see. I didn't see enough of it. I saw, like, when I would watch highlights for these other teams, I'd see Slay make plays. I saw Jair lock down Justin Jefferson. I saw Sauce Gardner locking people up and being loud about it. I saw Tariq, doing his thing early in the year. So, but I just didn't see Surtain. But I will say they had he probably, other than Slay, had the best defense in front of him. Maybe Sauce too, because he got Quinnen and some other guys. But Tariq's defense is almost totally young. The other corner on the other side is a rookie. Slay got the Monstars on the team with him, so that front end kind of helps him out. Surtain's front end kind of helped him out. So if I'm gonna say the number one guy, like in the league, based off of what they got in front of them and what they playing with, it's probably got to be Jair. Probably. So I would go Jair 1. I would go Surtain 4, Slay 2, Marlo 5. And did I leave 3 out? No, Marlo 3, and then bump the other guy down to 5. But Marlo definitely got to be on there because he, like I said, I mentioned early in the season, like week 2 or 3, I said Marlo was overrated. And from the time I typed in the chat box, that son gonna ball the rest of the year. The rest of the year, I had to renege on that comment. Let's bump over to free safety. Minka Fitzpatrick, Kevin Beard from Tennessee, Quandre Diggs from Seattle, Jesse Bates from the Bengals, Javon Holland, Miami Dolphins. B, let's start with you.
I'm pretty good with this list. I think if anything, I would move Diggs up a spot, but outside of that, I think I'm good here.
Jose?
Yeah. So is Derwin James considered a free safety or a strong safety?
Strong.
Okay.
Strong. I got one more slide. It's strong safety.
Okay.
Now I don't remember who's on it. I don't remember who's on it, but
can we see the strong safety list?
We can pop over there. Pop over there 1 second.
Chi. Yep.
Okay, there he is.
All right.
Okay. All right. There we go. I saw what I needed to see.
I think. Well, who's a free safety for us? Marcus Williams, or is it? Okay, I think his injury set him back, obviously. But I would have him on this list. I still feel like I want to put him on this list because he had such a strong start to the season. And when he came back, he was still playing at a high level. These guys are good though.
Take off Holland.
Holland probably. Probably Holland. I think, but Quandre Diggs, I bumped down to 4. I watched him play all this year because he was on my he's an IDP in my fantasy football league. So he was a little up and down. But I'll probably leave the list alone. I'm flirting with putting Marcus Williams in there though.
Chris?
Yeah, like Jose said, like I think Marcus Williams would definitely be a top 3 if he would have stayed healthy. I mean, the way he started this season, he had 4 picks, I think, in like the first 3 games, something like that. He was playing really well till he got injured, but he got hurt. So I'm fine with this list.
Hendo?
Yeah, I'm good with this list. The only thing I might do is I might bump Holland from 5 to 4. Just switch them 2.
Gotcha. Mike?
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I think. Hear me out, right? I think Minka. I think Minka is getting by a little bit of how he balled last year. Not to say Minka ain't played well this year, but I don't think Minka was Minka of years past. But I don't think there was anybody who else who played well enough to take a strong hold over that number one spot. Um, so I'm okay with that. But I got the side eye at Minka a little bit. Like, yeah, I'm watching you, Jack. I'm watching you.
As for me, I really want to put Marcus up there, but that time miss just really hurt him. And Holland, kind of did his thing for the most part all year. He may have missed 1 or 2 games, but I would leave it like that too. But I really want to slide Marcus in there because of what he did. But I'm not. I'm sticking to 5 people, unlike some people on this panel.
So since we want to throw shots, Coach, you can't say you want to slide him in there, because just like you said for Woolen, he did all his stuff at the beginning of the year, not at the end. So we can't slide Marcus Williams in there for your own reasoning.
You're right. Well, hold me accountable, and I like it. That's why. That's why you're
all his stuff at the
That's why. That's why you're up here. That is why you're up here, Mike.
I just want.
Okay. Yeah. He was a button my so no Marcus Williams. No Marcus Williams. And lastly, we have strong safeties. Derwin James 1, Buda Baker 2, Jordan Poyer 3. I really like that guy, number 4. I can't say his name.
Hufanga. Yeah.
And CJ Gardner-Johnson with the Eagles. Me personally, I'm gonna put CJ at 1 and then bump everybody else down. Mike, what you think?
I would put my man from the 49ers above. I might put him at I'll put him above Poyer. I think he played well. He was all pro this year too, I think.
Who? Hufanga?
Hufanga, yeah. Okay. Derwin James is Derwin James. I think that dude he's close to being on the list by himself as well.
Right. He's different.
Yeah. So I would do James, Buda Baker, Hufanga. No, excuse me. James, Johnson, Baker. No, wait. All right. James, Johnson. Shit, I guess it gotta be that. Baker, Hufanga, and Johnson. Shit. I mean, Poyer. So Hufanga ends up at 4. I want to move him up, but I guess. All right. Yeah, I'll rock with that.
Here though.
Yeah, it's definitely Derwin James. He stayed healthy for once, and he's an all-pro player. So number 2, I'm gonna have to put CJ Gardner-Johnson. At 3, I'm gonna put Hufanga. 4, I'm gonna go with Buda Baker. He hasn't been the same Buda Baker that he's been in the years past. I just think that that name recognition got him up this high.
He was hurt too. If you watch Hard Knocks, he was hurt. He played hurt like 3 games. But go ahead.
And Jordan Poyer is going to have to be at number 5 because he was hurt for some games as well. So he played well when he was there, but those injuries knocked him down to number 5.
Alfred says, "Where's the PFF top rated safety at?" Who? Let me know who that is, Alfred. I know it's shade coming. I just want to know who it is. Chris, go ahead.
You already know.
I'm gonna go Buda 1. I'm gonna go Derwin 2. I'm gonna go CJ 3. I'm gonna go little Polamalu 4, and then Poyer 5.
Gotcha. What makes you put Buda 1?
That defense is trash. Like that's like high school level defense, and that dude, he covers like they're bad, but he covers up a lot of their bad, and he does it in multiple ways. Because that's why I wanted to look at the list, because he plays some free safety for them. He plays some strong. He plays some nickel. He can go down and make tackles in the box, and he could do it all. Like he's one of those cats that could do it all, and he's like 5'2".
Right. You know what I think their defense does, and I'm probably wrong, but I think they do. I think they scheme for 10 and let him do his thing. I think they like 10 people got assignments.
Right.
You do what's natural. And I know that's kind of unorthodox, but when you got a guy like him, And I think Palomalu kind of had the freedom to kind of do that. I think Ed kind of had the freedom to do stuff like that.
Yep.
Buddha is he's small, but he's very heady. He plays hard. He's tough. He plays hurt. And I think they kind of scheme for 10 and let him do his thing. But somebody in those other 10 don't be doing their job. So
a lot in those other 10 don't do their job.
Right. Even the guy that I thought was going to be the Terminator, and he ain't showing it. And that's the linebacker from Clemson. Simmons, yeah.
Oh.
Jose?
So I got a question. What is Jalen Petrie? Is he a free safety or a strong safety for the Texans?
I think Petrie is a free. I think Petrie is a free.
We got to go back to the other list. There. He belongs on the list somewhere. All right, yeah. Derwin James 1, CJ 2, Hufanga 3, Buda Baker 4, Poyer 5. That's my list.
Gotcha. And B?
Yeah, I'll have James, then Hufanga, then Gardner Johnson, then Buda, then Poyer.
Gotcha. Easy says think Peaches are strong. But I looked him up on Pro Football Focus. It just says safety. So that could be.
I'll take out Joel Poyer and put Petrie 5.
Gotcha. And let me see what's next. Let me take this off and see what's next. I know where we at. Yeah, we can skip that. We're gonna skip that one, Mikey. Them old cats.
No special things?
Nah, them old cats. them 6 quarterbacks we was gonna talk about. B, I got something for you. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, so after the Super Bowl this Sunday, Jose and I and Hendo are going to be on with our friends Ferris and Caleb on Let's Get Ready Network, the highlights. We're going to do a whole post-game discussion after the Super Bowl. So if you are online or you're just around, you want some content there, be sure to come through and check it out and hit the subscribe button for them.
Cool.
Well, we're kind of simulcasting, right? Because we're going to be streaming on our. Yeah, so
it'll be on all of our. It'll be on Lunch Break Hot Take. It'll be on Hendo's channel, Ravens Online on Gatekeeper, and Let's Get Ready Network. So hit subscribe on all 3 if you're not already.
Approximately how long after the game?
I think it's set for 10:30, right?
Yeah, 10:30.
10:30 Eastern. So that's make sure you go to either Hendo's page, Jose and B's page, or the Let's Get Ready Network with is that Ferris?
Ferris.
Ferris and Caleb. So that's your after the game content. I'll definitely be tuned in. Even if I'm not at home, I'll be tuned in and drop a like, subscribe, and do all the things that we normally do. Make sure you guys do that too. I won't be live. No, I won't be. I'll be full. So just know that. I've got a few. I think that might be one of the few things I have left. That is it. We had one more thing to do, but it's almost 2 hours. We trying to do hashtag no 2 hours.
Okay, but Coach, you didn't show the list of punters.
I didn't even clip it. Is it a list? You seen it?
Nah, but we need to find out where your man Stout is.
B, can you handle that for us? Please. Are you still on that page?
We'll put him at 5.
I'm sure he's not on there. But we got to see for him though.
Nah, that's all right. You ain't even got to look up Shank.
Oh,
Wow,
that is crazy.
Wow.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Justin Tucker on the kickers list?
Justin Tucker is not on the kickers list.
Yeah, that's dumb. Throw the whole thing out.
What?
Right.
Jason Myers,
Sure wasn't on the
Carlson,
kickers list.
and Tyler Bass. And for punters, they listed 3 as well: Tommy Townsend, Carolina Panther Johnny Hecker, and
Former Ram.
Carolina Panther Johnny Hecker.
Former Ram.
Carolina Panther Johnny Hecker.
Oh yeah,
Who's the third guy?
throw that list out, man. They ain't had a goat on there.
Yeah, that's big time disrespect.
And it's players now.
Well, he's on his own list, so it's no need to even mention. Justin
That's probably
Tucker.
why.
That's why.
It.
Because he's the only one that they put on the list by himself, and they probably gonna lean toward Kelsey being that guy next.
Devin Duvernay made both the kick and punt returner list at number 4.
Wow.
He had some good kick returns.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, it's not a lot of kick returns going on. So if you break about 3 good ones, you highly up there. I think the kid that led the league and actually made the Riders All Pro, Keyshawn Nixon or Mixon for Green
the
Bay.
Packers.
He wasn't even the punt returner until like week 8 or 9.
Mm.
and well, the kick returner until like
Listen.
week 8 or 9 and did that.
Yeah, better hope we keep Devin Duvernay.
That room.
That $4 million cap hit.
One last question before we get out of here. We do our outros, and then I'm gonna take it back to Bieniemy. We talked about stability as for the Texans, right? If we get Bieniemy and we like the league of next year, he's probably gonna be one and done. So what does that say for stability? Do we really want that to happen, and then we right back in this spot again next year?
Yes, beggars can't be choosers.
Okay.
Yes, most definitely. Because listen, we may only have Lamar for one more year, so let's see what we can do with him if Lamar comes back.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, you got to take it. If he's available and he's willing to come, you gotta go with it.
Right.
Or he could be the offensive coordinator for 1 year and then become the head coach.
Possible.
No, because you don't want to make all of John Harbaugh's paranoid fever dreams come true. Oh, I hired a good coordinator and then he took my job. Oh no. Nah.
That is true.
Right.
And what you would like, right? Because typically these guys bring their own guys with them, right? So, hopefully we got somebody in the building that learns, or he bring a guy with them that can move up into that spot if he does get out of here. So, but you gotta make that move if he there.
Crazy. And why is Prochet not on the top 5 receiver list? I have no idea, Jonathan.
He's on the Jonathan.
Top
He's on the
five
top 5, soon to be
Wide receiver Raiders coaches.
Yeah, he's gonna be in front office.
You know what? Remember, Sportsman used to have a not top 10.
Yep.
That's what Prochet is.
Prochet is
where
on his
Prochet
way to being the assistant to the assistant GM.
So he is the man sitting next to the man. Sitting
next to the man.
Man.
Yeah.
Call my Piccolo player.
They love that brother here.
Yeah, they do. I like him too, but
He just can't play.
He ain't it.
He can't play.
Hopefully he can get 8 catches next year if he's still here. Hopefully. But let's run these outros, and we'll start with you, Hendo. Run it.
Oh, well, you can find me on YouTube at Ravens Online on Gatekeepers. I'm not promising y'all anything as far as streams. We'll do some videos.
What happened to those Patreon videos? What happened to those?
No, they done with 2023.
Oh,
but listen, I may keep that open. But listen, as far as live streams go, we're gonna kind of play it by ear because sometimes it's not much to talk about. We did a stream yesterday, and we pretty much talked about Stardew Valley. Yeah, man. But you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at our Gatekeepers. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook. I just don't know what I put the name is, but I'm there.
Damn,
you just there, huh?
Yeah, I'm just there. I don't even.
You want me to write a pitch for you, Hendo?
You can do that, B.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
It's on you, Chris.
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Just Joking. You could also find me on the screen, what you see on the screen at Deep Cover Pod. This week we're going to be recording a recap show on the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl practice for those of you that are into the draft. We will be dropping that, I believe, on Friday.
Gotcha. And y'all recently did something with Cole too. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, we just went over the OCs, the ones that have been interviewed so far, and just kind of gave like a brief little background on each of their their stops and their history throughout the league and in college too.
Gotcha. Jose and B.
All right, we are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live stream every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the Overtime Show, which you can find on our Patreon at patreon.com/LBHT Show. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. Also, we do a boxing podcast with our brother, Mr. OTR Mike, Ring Kings Podcast. We try to hit for Mondays, but that's hit or miss, but it'll be out there. There you go. Ring Kings Podcast. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Ring Kings Pod.
All right, and the logo for Lunch Break Hot Take there.
There you go.
So I knew this was too good to be true. I knew it was too good to be true. I didn't save Mike's picture. I knew it. I knew it was too good to be true. I went to look at him like, hold on, I'm missing something. I tried to find it real quick, and I guess I just missed it. But Mike, tell them where they can find y'all. You'll be in the building next week, definitely.
Yeah, so it's all good, man. I am Mike. I am the host of Open Mic with yours truly. It is the show where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter what it is, who it is, or where it is. There it is.
There you go.
Hendo has it.
Appreciate you.
I typically drop on Mondays. I snuck a late episode in last night. Jose
did?
probably didn't even see it. Yes,
I didn't see it.
But see, my man Brandon was waiting for it. Brandon, I snuck it in the last minute on my executive producer. So, but it'll probably be coming sometime in the next 24 hours, something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and as he said, I am 1/3 of Rank Kings podcast, the best boxing podcast in the game. We don't fight with each other or other boxing podcasts. We just get to the good topics, and that's what we do. So yeah, man, look me up, Open Mic with OTR Mike. Help your boy get some more subscribers. And if you are into audio listening on your way to work, on your morning jog, on your
treadmill, walking in the gym,
or your morning, you sitting on the John,
Peloton,
the
do what
commute.
you gotta do. Find me at Open Mic with OTR Mike and give your boy a 5-star rating.
Appreciate it. And B, hit this one more time before we get out of here.
Yes, after the Super Bowl next Sunday, myself, Jose, and Hendo are going to join our guys Ferris and Caleb on the Let's Get Ready Network, the highlights, for a post-game discussion. That's going to be multi-stream to the Let's Get Ready Network channel, Ravens Online Ungatekeepers, as well as Lunch Break Hot Take. But make sure you hit all three channels, hit the like, hit the subscribe on all three.
Gotcha. Appreciate it. And as for me, you're here, so there's no need for me to put that one up there. But that's the regular channel, Sip the Tally Films. But I also would like for you guys to go over to more Sip the Tally, and that's where we're for the streets at more Sip the Tally. We're for the other 31 teams. The other 31 teams can holler at me over there. I'm being passed around over there. But for Ravens, this channel right here, we're strictly Ravens. So I appreciate if you go over there and hit the subscribe button. We're pushing 400. I know I'm hoping draft season will get us to 1,000 because that's what a lot of the content is. I got some good draft guys over there, and what I will speak on kind of the plan for both channels as far as draft season. With the main channel, I'm going to be doing a lot of receivers, and then until I kind of figure out a secondary position of need for is maybe cornerback, maybe O-line or whatever. But I'm definitely going to do a lot of receivers. But for more Sip to Tally, I'm just starting at the top, the top guys that the scouts say are the top guys, and I'm going down. And what I will say is Will Levis was in that list of top guys, and I don't think he should be up there. A lot of people are super high on Jordan Addison, and he does have some good traits, but I don't think he's as what he's advertised. Maybe the whole group of wide receivers is not as advertised, but I've only done 2 so far. Addison's done. I'll put it out tomorrow, and we'll see, man. I just appreciate everybody for going over there and hitting subscribe on that channel and getting it up to 1,000 so we can start the turnover content over there also. You can find me on Instagram at Sip the Tally, and on TikTok at Sip the Tally also. Two last things before we get out of here. We're starting to build the merch, and everybody up here has merch, so we got to start plugging everybody merch too. But this is the latest thing we got on our channel. It's called Fluid and Sarcasm, and I made that statement in here a couple weeks ago, and it has turned into a shirt. So if you want to get this shirt, you can click the link in the description. It's t-shirts, it's coffee mugs, it's hoodies, all that good stuff that comes with the merch. Lastly, I'm gonna end it the way I started. I think I saw him in here. Kevin Spencer, you won the blanket. The Ravens, it's Cloud Sherpa. I need you to hit me on IG or Twitter in the DM so I can get your address and send this out to you. You're the winner for this month. And for those that want to know how they can be in the drawing, if you said anything in the chat box, you're in it. If you donate or by super chat or super thanks or whatever, that bumps you up higher. And just being in the chat, really, you get points. And so that's how you get into the drawing. And again, at the end of this month, we'll have another winner with a different prize, and we'll go from there. So with that being said, man, that's week 2623 of the Ravens Roundtable podcast. Any closing shots for anybody? That'd be it, man.
Y'all be great.
Stay out of jail.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Please
Enjoy the
do.
stout sucks.
Please do. God, you gonna
Stay
end on
out
that?
of jail.
Where the positivity?
That is
Oh.
positive. Stay out of jail.
No, I'm talking about Hendo.
Oh,
He positively sucks.
He positive. Hey, we'll see y'all definitely Wednesday. What day y'all dropping, Chris?
Friday, I believe.
Friday, maybe Hendo Thursday. Mike will be tomorrow at some point because Jose got to do some work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And there it is.
It's all
I'll
good.
be I'll be
Jose,
in and out.
I one taked it, baby. It's all good.
Okay, you want take Drake?
Even better. Even better.
Mike is a professional.
Gotcha. Hey y'all, peace.
Deuces.